Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I hope everyone had an amazing holiday. And we're back to the first of the year. I had to take me a little break, but I am back, and I just wanted to share with you what I have been up to. Some of you may know that I have an issue with gastric reflux, and I went to the doctor. They did the test, and as a matter of fact, after the test I started having more pain. And this was probably a year ago. It's a little better now, but still had issues. But I went on the internet and found out the things that you could do for gastric reflux. And so I've been doing that, and I have shown some improvement. But this sent me down a rabbit hole, checking out things to do for the gut. And I had been listening to some of the homesteaders, and they all buy whole wheat in bulk because they say it's cheaper, and if you get the whole grain you can store it for years. So I got my wheat, I got me a food grade bucket, and I was making the wheat, not wheat, I was getting gluten-free grain, sorghum, buckwheat, and I started making my bread. But I was listening to Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, and someone asked Stacy a question about bread. I can't even remember what the question was, but she said, if you want to know about bread, check out Sue Becker, sorry. And so this is what I did. I mean, she said it's so low and so quick. I had to rewind that 3 times before I knew what she was saying. So I looked her up, and I think it was like 90 some I looked it up on Spotify, because the videos, she has some videos on YouTube, but a lot of them are long. She's demonstrating. So I did go to Spotify, and I listened to some of her little podcasts. I can't remember what she called them, but some of them are 15, 20, even have a few that's 30 minutes, but most of them are relatively short. And it was like 90. I mean, I would wake up in the morning getting my tablet so I could listen to another podcast. I did make it through those, and she even goes into when they started taking the bran and the wheat germ out of the grain. It's like there are all kind of studies, because before the war they started doing it, and a lot of people were getting heart trouble and different things, and the government told them that they had to put it back. But meanwhile, they they had the war, and they made them put it back in because they could not waste that food. So they put, after the war, they took it out again, and they would start selling it to the farmers for feed for the animals. And people were getting heart trouble and everything again. And so the government told them that they had to put it back in. And this is when they didn't want to do that because that was their money. So they started fortifying the bread, putting their synthetic chemicals in there. But they started fortifying the bread.
FDA standard was not amended to include bread for several years. The enrichment of bread began in 1941. Folic acid can help certain birth defects. It was included in 1998.
This has been going on for years. I mean, they started fortifying bread before I was born. And I can remember some of the people called in on their experiences after they started eating the bread. One lady was saying her 5-year-old was constipated, and another, her 7-year-old. The lady with the 5-year-old said she went to the doctor. They just wanted to give her son some medication for his bowels. And I can remember when I was a child having that same problem, and I thought nothing of it. And then when I got to be a young adult, I remember there were certain things I couldn't eat, but still knew nothing. When I was in my 30s, I decided that I was going to stop eating meat, because when I ate meat, it just felt like it would sit up. I would wake up in the morning feeling miserable. So that's when I stopped eating meat. Then fast forwarded now I've been diagnosed with gastric reflux. Well, all these years, I never knew anything. You know, you go in for your colonoscopy, oh, you got polyps, they take them out. And I'm wondering, could some of these here polyps and stuff, because we don't get enough fiber, could be the cause of it. And bread has been around since the beginning of the time. if you read your Bible, bread is all through the Bible. Jesus even compared himself to bread. And it's just, after I listened to Susan, I also listened to Dr. Michael McGregor, and he has a new book out, and he was saying, I think it's 8 things that you should add to your diet every day, and wheat germ was one of them.
So I know that the Daily Dozen has been the foundation of your diet for years. I wanted to ask you if there's been any changes to your diet since you began researching how not to age. You already listed everything that I knew about.
Yeah, I think that's, so the papaya, the strawberries, the wheat germ, the tempeh, eat more mushrooms. I think those have been the kind of the big things that kind of changed my day to day.
Great. All right, well, I'd love to.
I said, now if he's saying eat wheat germ and they're taking the wheat germ out, the wheat, why don't I just buy wheat with the germ and eat that? So this is what I started doing. I've only been eating the whole grain bread the whole grain wheat bread, I should say, for a couple of weeks, but believe it or not, my stomach seems to be feeling a little better. So this is a practice that I will keep doing. And I just thought that this would be something that I could pass on, because if you're trying to be healthy, especially if you're having good gut issues, and in my research, a lot of the things that you have is because you're not getting enough fiber, and these toxins are not being moved out of your body fast enough, and you reabsorbing some of the things. So this is one of the things that I am doing. I will share some of the other things that I am doing, but today was all about real bread. So if you have any questions, please leave them down. You know, I'm just giving the briefing. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything. I'm just telling you what I can do. And I feel like everyone should do their own research. Look this stuff up. But sometimes things are just common sense, which I think people are so busy that they don't take time to think. But if they're taking all of these nutrients out of the food, and then putting it back in a chemical form, I mean, it's just not right. Our food system is so jacked up, and we have to take things into our own hands. We need to start getting to know our local farmers and go to the organic farmers, or at least the ones who are not putting chemicals on their food. Because you have a lot of farmers out there that are not considered organic, but they don't use chemicals. When you go to the store, try to purchase organic. You know, it's all about money. And until the people realize that they have the control, stop buying it, we're going to keep getting this inferior stuff.
You may be surprised to learn that the United States is considered by many to be the unhealthiest country in the world. The U.S. has very high rates of death from heart disease and cancer. It also has one of the highest rates of stroke deaths. Other preventable diseases like diabetes, respiratory disease.
I believe it's because of what we're putting in our temple. We are told what we should eat, but we are eating other things, because the stuff in the bread, I don't even consider that bread. Number one, they strip the nutrients out of it. They bleach it to make it white. They put fillers in it and everything to make it nice and soft and fluffy, because they know what people want, and they give it to them whether it's doing damage to them or not. So please do your research, and I hope this helps someone. If I help one person, this video is worth it. What is the meaning of Bethlehem?
House of bread. According to Britannica, Hebrew, Bethlehem, house of bread.
So until next time, this is Lady P. Peace and love. I'm out.